The atomic bomb changed history. It unleashed a force never seen before. This force came from splitting atoms, the tiny building blocks of everything around us. This discovery would change how we fought wars and how we thought about power. Before the atomic bomb, wars were fought with guns and bombs that exploded with ordinary chemicals. The atomic bomb was different. It used the energy inside atoms, creating an explosion far greater than anything before. This new power brought both fear and wonder. The story of the atomic bomb is a story of scientific discovery. It is also a story of war, politics, and the choices made by nations and people. It is a story that continues to shape our world today. The story of the atomic bomb begins with scientists trying to understand the atom. This journey into the heart of matter started with curiosity and a desire to unlock the secrets of the universe. Early scientists were fascinated by the idea that everything around us, from the air we breathe to the stars in the sky, was made up of tiny, indivisible particles called atoms. In the early 1900s, they discovered that atoms were not solid, but made of even smaller particles. This was a groundbreaking revelation that changed the way we understood the building blocks of matter. Scientists like Ernest Rutherford and Niels Bohr began to uncover the complex structure of the atom, revealing a dense nucleus surrounded by a cloud of electrons. These particles, like electrons, protons, and neutrons, held incredible energy. The realization that such tiny components could possess such immense power was both thrilling and daunting. It opened up new avenues of research and experimentation, leading scientists to explore the potential applications of this newfound knowledge. Albert Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared showed that a small amount of mass could be converted into a huge amount of energy. This equation became a cornerstone of modern physics, illustrating the profound relationship between mass and energy. Einstein's work provided a theoretical framework that would later be crucial in the development of nuclear technology. This discovery was key to understanding the power of the atom. It suggested that if scientists could find a way to harness this energy, they could potentially unlock a source of power far greater than anything previously known. The implications were enormous, promising both incredible benefits and terrifying dangers. Scientists realized that if they could split an atom, they could release this energy. This idea, known as nuclear fission, became the focus of intense research and experimentation. The challenge was to find a way to initiate and control the fission process, which required a deep understanding of atomic interactions and the behavior of subatomic particles. In the 1930s, scientists finally split an atom for the first time. This monumental achievement was the result of years of painstaking research and collaboration among some of the greatest minds in science. The successful demonstration of nuclear fission proved that it was possible to release the energy stored within the atom. This process, called nuclear fission, released a tremendous amount of energy. The energy released during fission was far greater than that produced by any chemical reaction, making it a powerful new source of energy. Scientists were both excited and cautious, aware of the potential for both constructive and destructive uses of this technology. This breakthrough opened the door to the possibility of creating a weapon of unimaginable power. The prospect of harnessing nuclear energy for military purposes became a pressing concern, especially as the world moved closer to global conflict. The race to develop the atomic bomb began, setting the stage for a new era in human history, one marked by both unprecedented technological advancement and profound ethical dilemmas. The discovery of nuclear fission happened on the eve of World War II. The world watched as Nazi Germany grew in power. Scientists, many of whom had fled Europe to escape persecution, worried that Germany might be the first to build an atomic bomb. In the United States, a group of scientists including Albert Einstein wrote a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. They warned him about the potential of an atomic bomb and urged him to start a research program. This letter convinced Roosevelt to take action. The United States, along with Great Britain and Canada, secretly launched a massive research effort. The goal was to build an atomic bomb before Germany could. This project was given a secret code name, the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was a massive undertaking, unlike anything ever seen before. It involved thousands of people working in secret across the United States. The project was led by General Leslie Groves, and the chief scientist was J. Robert Oppenheimer. One of the main challenges was enriching uranium, a key ingredient for the bomb. This process required building massive facilities like the one in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Another challenge was designing the bomb itself. This work was done at a secret laboratory in Los Alamos, New Mexico. The Manhattan Project was a race against time. The scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, driven by the fear that Germany might be ahead. They faced many technical challenges and setbacks, but they were determined to succeed. Section 5. A City of Secrets. Los Alamos. Los Alamos, New Mexico became a secret city during the war. Scientists and their families were brought there from all over the country. They lived and worked in isolation, cut off from the outside world. The scientists at Los Alamos included some of the brightest minds in the world. They worked long hours, pushing the boundaries of science and engineering. They faced immense pressure, knowing that the fate of the world might depend on their success. Life in Los Alamos was shrouded in secrecy. The scientists and their families could not talk about their work, even with each other. They lived with the constant fear of espionage and the knowledge that their work could have devastating consequences. After years of tireless work, the dedicated scientists of the Manhattan Project were finally ready to test their groundbreaking creation. This moment was the culmination of intense research, countless hours in the lab, and the combined efforts of some of the greatest minds of the time. On the early morning of July 16, 1945, in the remote New Mexico desert near Alamogordo, history was about to be made. The first atomic bomb, a device of unprecedented destructive power, was set to be detonated. The test, codenamed Trinity, unleashed a blinding flash of light that turned night into day. A massive mushroom cloud rose miles into the air, a visual testament to the bomb's immense power. The sheer force of the explosion was unlike anything the world had ever seen. The power of the explosion shocked even the scientists who had meticulously designed and built the bomb. They stood in awe, witnessing the raw, unbridled energy they had harnessed. It was a moment of both triumph and trepidation. The Trinity test marked the beginning of the atomic age, a new era defined by the power to destroy the world. This single event would forever alter the course of human history, introducing a new level of existential threat. The scientists had unlocked the secrets of the atom, delving into the very fabric of the universe. But in doing so, they had also unleashed a force of unimaginable destruction. The implications of their work were profound and far-reaching. With the successful test of the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project had achieved its goal. The scientists and engineers celebrated their success, knowing they had accomplished something monumental. Yet, there was an underlying sense of uncertainty about what the future would hold. But the world was still engulfed in the throes of World War II, and the question of whether to use this new weapon now rested with President Harry Truman. The decision he faced was one of the most consequential in history, weighing the potential to end the war against the moral and ethical implications of unleashing such a devastating force. On August 6, 1945, an American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, exploded with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT. The explosion instantly killed tens of thousands of people. The heat from the blast vaporized buildings and melted steel. The blast wave leveled everything in a 2-mile radius. Those who survived the initial blast faced radiation sickness, burns, and long-term health problems. The bombing of Hiroshima was a tragedy on an unimaginable scale. It showed the world the horrifying destructive power of the atomic bomb. The city, once home to over 250,000 people, was reduced to rubble in an instant. 3 days after Hiroshima, on August 9, 1945, the United States dropped a second atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Nagasaki. The bomb, nicknamed Fat Man, exploded with even greater force than the one dropped on Hiroshima. The bombing of Nagasaki killed tens of thousands more people and caused widespread destruction. The two atomic bombs had a devastating impact on Japan, both physically and psychologically. The bombings led to Japan's surrender to the Allied forces on August 15, 1945, ending World War II. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain the only uses of nuclear weapons in warfare. They serve as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of atomic weapons and the importance of preventing their use in the future. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki marked the beginning of a new era, the atomic age. These two events not only brought an end to World War II, but also introduced humanity to the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The sheer destruction and loss of life were unprecedented, leaving scars that would last for generations. The world now lived in the shadow of the bomb, aware of the terrible consequences of nuclear war. During the Cold War, the fear of nuclear annihilation permeated everyday life. Governments built fallout shelters, and civil defense drills became routine as people prepared for the worst-case scenario. The threat of a nuclear conflict was a constant, looming presence. The bombing sparked a global debate about the ethics of nuclear weapons and the need for international cooperation to prevent their spread. Activists and ordinary citizens around the world took to the streets, demanding an end to the nuclear arms race. The United Nations became a crucial platform for these discussions, as nations grappled with the moral and practical implications of nuclear armament. The Cold War saw a nuclear arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union, each country building up vast arsenals of nuclear weapons. This period was marked by a tense standoff, with both superpowers developing increasingly sophisticated and destructive nuclear capabilities. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, dictated that any nuclear attack by one would result in a devastating retaliatory strike by the other. Today, the threat of nuclear war remains a serious concern. Despite the end of the Cold War, several countries continue to maintain and modernize their nuclear arsenals. The potential for regional conflicts to escalate into nuclear confrontations adds to the complexity of the global security landscape. The existence of these weapons poses a perpetual risk to humanity. The international community continues to work towards nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation, seeking to prevent the spread of these devastating weapons. Treaties such as the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and various arms control agreements aim to limit the number of nuclear weapons and reduce the risk of nuclear war. Diplomatic efforts and negotiations are ongoing, as the world strives for a future free from the threat of nuclear devastation. The legacy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serves as a constant reminder of the importance of these efforts. Memorials and museums dedicated to the victims of the bombing stand as solemn testaments to the horrors of nuclear war. Survivors, known as hibakusha, share their stories to educate future generations about the catastrophic consequences of nuclear weapons, urging the world to never forget and to work tirelessly for peace.